Welcome back, nerds and turds, to another live stream repair. We've got a couple first-gen HomePods to knock out, of course. First one up here is from Salvatore, and they said that about 75% of the time, let's see, there's no bass. So let's plug this in, get this booted up, and take a quick listen for any immediate symptoms for ourselves here. And you might be wondering, where the heck have I been the past few days? Well, we attempted to drive from Seattle to Knoxville for some family matters, but we only made it to about Arizona before we decided it was just going to be best to turn around. The kid was just being absolutely too wild, so long story short, but we made it back home, no problem, and in my absence, my freaking domain expired, so my website went down, and of course I didn't catch it or notice. So my website was down for a few days, and well, boy, I'm sure a few people were wondering what the heck was going on. But worry not, we are here. We're always here, and as I say, we're never going to stop fixing these until they can't be fixed anymore. So
I'm having trouble.
All right, that doesn't sound like anything immediately wrong. As seeing if there's any kind of popping as it turns on, but that all sounds good. So let's crack this open and take a peek at the amplifier inside. It probably is just going to end up getting a new amp. Do have a bit of a crack, just a tiny little crack in the top here. So we don't want to make that any worse. Yeah, right here. Yeah, it looks like it was packed okay, but might have gotten thrown around a little too much and smacked that top there a little bit along the way here. Is that bent? Oh my god, it is. Let me go grab the subwoofer straightener. Alright, where was it? Here it is. Not sure how well that comes across on camera, but right here it's got a pretty decent bend. So let's smack that straight real quick. That might be their problem. All right. Let's get these put back on there. And we don't want to just slap this right back together. There's a little bit of maintenance we need to do while we've got this apart here. Let me find one more. Okay, put that to the side. We're gonna get down all the way to that amplifier in there and see if it's also got the typical Schottky diode that causes no power issues. And we're also going to replace the DC filters that are in here, because by now all of the original ones in these first gen HomePods are hitting that age where they're starting to fail sooner rather than later and cause more issues like death farts and no bass. So let's do that. As for the diode, we can tell whether it's a trustworthy one or not by the date code on it. If it's between 4.6 or 4.8K, then it's a bad one and we need to replace that. Any other date code we can leave alone and not worry about. For those DC filters, there's no way to tell if they're good or bad. Well, you can test them, but we used to test them and only replace them if they tested bad. But the past few months, even that has they'll test good and then a few months later they'll start to decline and cause issues. So that's why we're replacing all of the original filters. Well, we're replacing the filters in every HomePod that comes through here that still has the original filters, that is. Once they're replaced, they're good for another, at least, as long as these ones lasted. I'm thinking more like 10 years or longer. Hard to say for sure without schematics for these devices, but what we do know is the replacements that we use are better than what Apple used. she's going wild. She's been cooped up in a car for almost a week straight, so gotta let her get it out. Let's get up close and take a look at the date code on our diode. It's got a 26K, so that doesn't need to be messed with. Here we have our filters, so we will go ahead and replace those. My zoom camera's being funny. Let me reactivate that here. There we go, that's better. It throws me off when I see a delayed video of what I'm doing in the corner of my eye. Kind of like that, you know, that like, oh, there's that one audio engineering nerd on YouTube that built that handheld device that jams your ability to talk coherently and like properly form your thoughts. It's wild. I think if you just search on Google for speech jammer, you'll find what I'm talking about. But that's the equivalent of what it's like having like a half-second delayed live stream of what I'm doing in the corner of my eye. Sometimes it makes it a little weird. Try it out for yourself and you'll see what I mean. Oops. You get back on there. Perfect. Okay. So now we can put this back together. It should be all fixed up and good to go. Everything else on the board checks out great. Good. That is sealed. let's make sure this still powers up without a problem. We'll, of course, factory reset this, pair it to our test home, and let it play music all night just to make sure it's all good to go and that bass stays there 100% of the time. Let's break out the next one. See what we've got going on there. Severe popping. Alright, so this is going to be a pretty similar repair here. We'll crack it open, give it new filters, you know.
I'm having trouble connecting.
Alright.
I'm having...
Show me those volume buttons. Beautiful. Oops. Wrong one. Here we go. All right. Give us 1 second to catch up here, and we will start Rahul's HomePod here. Alright. Oof, emails, man. I gotta catch up tonight. How many do I have right now? 68? That's not actually too bad. For being gone for almost a week. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Let's take a quick listen for ourselves and see how bad this is. Oh boy, that that sounds cooked. Rahul, welcome, welcome. Glad you could make it, mate. So, judging based on what I heard there, I heard a little bit of squealing. So I'm gonna guess that our subwoofer is quite roasted in here. Most likely because the same filters that we replaced in Salvatore's HomePod have already gone bad in Rahul's pod here and roasted the poor speaker. Ooh. Yeah, that's definitely toast. Dang. I'm not even gonna smell that one. It'll give you cancer. Yeah, that shouldn't make any sound. So that is definitely toast. I've got some more woofers here. This one just needs to be straightened out a little bit first, so we'll go ahead and do that. I think we got it. Almost. Firmly grasp it! Okay, now I don't think I want to use this one actually. It's a little too far gone. This one I think we can get though. Yeah. All right. Let's make sure this one's actually good. Yes. Okay. We can carry on now. We don't want to just put in a brand new freshly smacked subwoofer into this without correcting the reason why the old one had a meltdown. Like I was rambling about earlier, it's going to be those DC filters on the back of the amp that we already replaced in Salvatore's HomePod. Yeah, unfortunately that your subwoofer was very, very, very toasty. But we can't just put a new subwoofer in there. We got to replace those filters that went bad and blew up that subwoofer in the first place. And looking at the amp from here, I can actually see another component that's blown up. Tends to happen when the filters get so bad that it blows up the subwoofer. It takes out this resistor on the amp with it too. Yeah, here's your woofer. And if you listen when I actuate it, it shouldn't sound like that. Sorry, didn't realize my microphone was so far away. Here, maybe you can hear it better now. Shouldn't sound like that. It should sound more like this. Like nothing. Unfortunately, it's just a natural thing for these ceramic capacitors to decay over time and lose their effectiveness at doing their job, which in turn leads to problems like this. But that's why we are replacing them in every single HomePod now, because we don't even trust the ones that are still testing good if they are still original ones, because we've just seen too many of them test good and then fail in a matter of months after that. Alright, so there's that resistor that got blown up on the board there. It's kind of in pieces. Do we have a diode to worry about? Yes, we do. Alright, so we've got the full suite that this thing needs. That's... Alright. First up, let's do the filters then. 4 more filters coming up. Alright, next up, let's get that destroyed resistor out of here. I'm going to cover up that plastic subwoofer connector so it doesn't get destroyed by the heat gun here. Easy peasy. One new 10 ohm resistor. Alright, last but not least, this does have a diode waiting to fail and cause no power on top of all the other issues it's already had. So let's get that replaced so it doesn't come back to us for no power issues. That'll do. Alright, so we've got new DC filters, new resistor, the 10 ohm resistor next to the subwoofer connector blew up. We've got a new Schottky diode because it had the date code that tends to fail and cause no power. And to seal it all up, we're going to put in a new subwoofer, since those filters went bad and roasted the poor old one. Oh, you gotta be careful around the insides of these. If you're not, one slip of the screwdriver and you just cost yourself an amplifier board. Don't ask me how I learned that. Honestly, though, these boards are fairly tough, but you nick the wrong thing at the wrong time, and it is you're asking for a new board. No, we don't clean the no clean flux. This stuff in particular is the Chipquik NC191. The NC standing for no clean, of course. The perk to that stuff is it does not corrode and it does not conduct, and you don't need to clean this stuff up. And the last thing we want to do with this, with the amp board, as I've, another learning experience from the past me making mistakes, I notice if you scrub these boards, you use rubbing alcohol and you try to clean up everything on it, you have a good chance of breaking something else on the board. So if you use the right flux, you don't need to clean it up. I will say though, in the past, it's been more than 2 years that we've been doing this. You are the first person to ever actually point that out, that I don't clean the flux up. I think a lot of people figure it's because of the no clean flux, but I'm kind of surprised it took that long for someone to ask about it. You might be also wondering if I am concerned about, like dust and stuff getting like on the flux or whatever in there and causing issues. But it's already sealed. The whole HomePod, it's everything in there is already nice and sealed up. If anything's getting in there, you've got bigger problems. Oh, Rahul, I am so sorry. I just realized you were asking if I'm going to be cleaning the mesh. I didn't realize you were asking about the mesh. I thought you were talking about the flux on the board. Wow. I'm stupid. No, the YouTube chat is covering up like half of what people are saying in the chat, so I have to guess what people are saying. As for the mesh, unfortunately there's nothing I can really do about yours. It's kind of the reason is it's kind of uniformly dirty, and to properly clean this, you would have to remove the mesh and do like a hot warm soap water bath for like 30 minutes, like at least 30 minutes to an hour, which we could do, but I'd have to charge you, and you might as well just resell replacement meshes. And if you want to pay me to clean your mesh that intensely, you might as well just buy a replacement mesh. But frankly, if you want my whole opinion on the cosmetics of these, I wouldn't worry about it, because it doesn't affect its performance at all. And the dirtier it gets, the less you have to worry about keeping it nice. But yeah, if it was like a tiny little stain here and there, or like a smudge or a black streak or something, we've been able to get some stains out with like rubbing alcohol and Q-tips, or yeah, actually just rubbing alcohol and Q-tips. That's like the goat right there. But for something like this, you'd need to take the mesh off and spend an hour or so actually cleaning it. Oh, it's like I was telling my wife with my cars. It's like I like to have kind of nice cars, but I don't, the nicer they are, the more I have to worry about where I park, right? But I've got a HomePod Mini that the kid has, that she gets to, get all dirty. I don't care if she drools all over it or tears up the mesh or whatever on that one. She can have fun with it. There is a little stain right here, actually, that I might be able to clean up a little bit. We'll try. We won't try right now, but I'll try it before I shoot this back over to you. Oh, Rahul, when you get this thing back, the base the difference in the base when you get this thing back, it's gonna blow your mind. How was my road trip? Oh boy, I got quite a tan and borderline sunburn on half my body. A bit of my face did get sunburned, and it got real freaking hot. We only made it to, was it like Arizona? Like halfway through Arizona before we decided it was just going to be too hot for all of us. And the kids screaming in the back. Like half the time she isn't even screaming because she's upset. She's just screaming because she's a baby. And like it just goes on for hours and hours. And it got to a point where we were like, I don't know if we can keep doing this for a few more days one way and then turn around and do it for almost another week straight to get back home again. So we just decided halfway into it to turn around and go back home. But we did have, it was fun. We saw some stuff along the way. The goal was to make it to Knoxville so we could go see some parents and grandmas. But it was a bit ambitious, I'll admit, for a first-time road trip with 1.5-year-old. The tip is to not scrub too hard because you can delaminate the layers. I'm gonna grab some Q-tips. Yeah, I can't imagine how my mom did road trips like that with me and my 2 sisters by herself. Alright, well, that's about I can't really get it any better. I don't want to ruin the mesh. Yeah, that's a tough one.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
That sounds beautiful.
I'm having
and it looks fantastic. That is all fixed up. Let's move on to Kevin's HomePod. Oh, you guys want to see some pictures that I took? Here, I posted them all on my Instagram, of course, but oh, this is fun, huh? Let me show you my phone screen on stream. But yeah, we stopped at this like teapot gas station thing. We stopped a lot of times. Took the kid out to denumb her butt, but it was a beautiful trip. Spotted a 370Z 50th anniversary edition. But yeah, good stuff. If you want to see those pictures, you can go to my Instagram, 32Zs, 30_2_Zs. All right, let's get caught up on emails, and we will pull up Kevin's HomePod here. Okay, let's guess what Kevin's. Let's see. I'm gonna guess Kevin has. I'm gonna guess Kevin has no power. But let's see. Please refer to the audio sample. Oh my god, another one with the same freaking problems. So it's probably going to be a blown up subwoofer and bad DC filters. I'll go ahead and say it probably needs a new diode too, because Apple doesn't know how to build these things to last more than a year at a time. But let's see. Actually, no, hold on. We're gonna look at Fred's. Yeah, we'll save Kevin's for tomorrow, maybe. Actually, no. We're gonna look at Kevin's now. I said it, and we're gonna commit to it. Here we go, Kevin. We're committed now. Let's take a quick listen. Ooh, yikes. You calm down. Alright, let's crack this open. Oh yeah. I do all my work on my own cars. Well, okay. I for certainly will be doing all of my work on my own cars now. I've got a 1986 Nissan 300ZX that I converted from an automatic to a 5-speed manual, and a turbo with a Garrett GT3071, something like that. 450cc injectors, Walbro 255 fuel pump, adjustable fuel pressure regulator, you know, the stuff you need to make about 400 horsepower in a 80s Z car. And then I've got the car that we took on the road trip, the 1990 Nissan Fairlady Z, sold in the US as a 300ZX, but this one is from Japan. Right-hand drive. It's the twin turbo automatic, and I kept it the automatic. And I did all my work on my 1986 300ZX. When I got this 1990 Fairlady Z right-hand drive, it being as much money as I spent on getting the thing in the first place, it needed a little bit of maintenance, routine maintenance, so I took it to a specialty shop to have them do it, because I really didn't want to mess it up. It was a timing belt service, most importantly. And on those engines, they are interference, meaning if it loses its timing, the pistons can collide with the valves. Basically, the engine will explode and grenade itself. So, I took it to a specialty shop to get the routine maintenance done, like I said, because I didn't want to mess it up on, I wasn't familiar with the car yet. I've owned the 86 300ZX for over 10 years, so I'm really familiar with that platform and that motor. But the Z32 is a slightly newer and twice as many cams, half as much room to work on things. And I really didn't want to mess it up my first time around. So I took it to that specialty shop and I trusted them. And they totally screwed it up. And the absolute worst thing that can happen happened. I took it to them for preventative maintenance to keep the replace the timing belt, so that way it wouldn't fall apart and destroy the engine. And what do? They fumble the timing belt job and fail to tighten some things down, and a bolt comes loose, rolls in between the cam gears and the timing belt, and destroys the engine. While my 1-year-old's in the back seat and we're on the highway. So I called the shop back and I was like, yo, 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 yo. And they were like, yo, 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 yo. So they were more than happy to take the car back and take a look and fix it up and, make things right. And they seemingly did. It took a month and a half. But, well, no, it took about a month. But they had a whole nother spare parts twin turbo engine already. And they pulled the cylinder heads off and sent them off to a machine shop to get them machined and checked, and they rebuilt the whole top end of the motor. They did call me like halfway through asking to sell me on a whole new wiring harness on top of it. And I just told them, I was like, I already spent an insane amount of money with you guys. I just want my car back. Working, thank you. And so they proceeded to do the rest of the, their un-effing their F up. And I went and picked it up, took it home, drove it around for a few days. Nothing seemed wrong until I checked the coolant level. And up to that point, everything seemed fine, so I started, I gave them praise. I said, good job, everything looks great. And, yeah. Then I noticed that coolant level going low, and I was like, alright, what's the dealio here? Trying to hunt down this coolant leak, apparently, and lo and behold, they had forgotten to install a clamp for the coolant hose that feeds one of the turbos. So it was just leaking coolant the whole time since I got it back. And they had sworn left, right, up and down that they had taken so much time to double check and triple check everything and make sure it's all right. And they still messed it up. They still messed it up again. And again. And again. And as I was hunting down the coolant leak, I noticed that the radiator cap that they had specifically charged me like $25-30 to replace the first time I took the car to them for the original service was still the original radiator cap. So I was like, okay, let me look a little closer at the invoice and see if there's anything else funny. Sure enough, they charged me twice for coolant. Once for the coolant as part of the timing belt job, and then a second time apparently because they replaced the radiator. Even though they only drained the coolant once, saw the sludge in it and said you need a new radiator. So it was a drain the coolant once, replace the radiator, do the timing belt service, fill the coolant back up. They didn't do everything, fill the coolant, find a problem, drain it, and refill it. So why they charged me twice for coolant, I don't know. This is all from a specialty mechanic shop named after the freaking car they're working on. It is just unbelievable. So they've got apparently a guy with over 20 years of experience working on these cars that can't put them together to save their own ass. And then they've got a manager putting the invoices together that doesn't actually know who's replacing what and is charging their customers for shit that they aren't actually getting. It just blows my mind. And then the price. They were not cheap. And I expected that. But I also expect for a specialty shop named after the car they're working on to match what I'm paying in terms of quality service. Not this sketchy shit. Apologies for my language, but I think you understand. So yeah, the one and only time I ever trusted another shop to work on my car, and I'm never gonna let it happen again now. At least if I break it, at least if it breaks, it was my fault now. I would rather screw something up myself, learning how to do it right, and doing it right, and knowing that it's done right, than continuing this game with this shop where they just... It's the mistakes that they keep making that cause problems, that cause that like, oh. And then those problems, it's like, do I fix it myself, or do I make them fix it? And at this point, I'm done with them. I'm just gonna fix everything myself. Oh no, I almost didn't notice that. Let's get in there. We got another blown 10 ohm resistor right there. Let's get that out of there. I'm surprised that this subwoofer is even good still. Like, how? Normally when this resistor gets blown up from those filters going bad, it's long after that subwoofer's already gone bad. Alright. It's just really disappointing because for as long as I've owned a Z car, I have always, as silly as it seems, as silly as it sounds, I've always wanted to take my Z car to the Z shop and have them do something to it. Just because, you know, their website and their reviews and everything just made them seem like such a great place, and it was going to be a great experience, and like, you know, have a bunch of guys that care about these cars work on my car, you know, maybe make some friends. But it just turned out to be such the complete opposite. I feel like I would have been better off taking that car to anywhere else there than there. At least taking it somewhere else, they would have been completely unfamiliar with it, and they would have taken their time, and I don't know. They would have done some research first. Oh, another thing that was really funny is, like, it's imported from Japan. It's right-hand drive, so anything that's the US version left-hand drive or driver's side is actually passenger side on this car. And anytime anything referred to driver's side or passenger side, whenever they called me and gave me an update or were asking questions about things, they would refer to the wrong side of the car. And that's not confidence inspiring. It's a small detail, but it's one of many small details that they missed. Yeah, you like that, huh? They are fun cars, and I like to drive fun. But I mean, also, in my opinion, anything with forced induction, anything with a supercharger or a turbocharger is fun. Really. Depending on how you drive it, you can make anything fun. Yeah, that's right. You guys do. So if I ever visit there, I'll feel much more. I'll get accustomed to it way easier than your standard foreigner. And I would love to visit someday. Oh yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but while I was out on my road trip, my domain expired, so my whole website for HomePod stuff went down, and I didn't even notice for like 2 days. It's so embarrassing, but I finally got it back up, and this weekend I should have some time to give the website some much needed updates, including your info, of course, for repairs in your parts of the world. You got a nice looking website, I will say that too. Alright, one last check. Make sure this woofer is... Wow, that's just... I'm impressed. Oh. I already have another gasket on there. That's why it wasn't sitting in there right. There we go. Yeah, but at least for now, you've got a legitimate website with an established electronics repair business. So that in and of itself is usually enough for people to see and go, okay, I'll trust them with my HomePod repair. So I wouldn't be big sweating the changes for HomePods on your site. Haha, well, funny you say that because it technically is the original HomePod website from 2018. Long story short, I just took a couple of copies of the original website from Wayback Machine. Different versions of the HomePod website over the years have had different stylings and elements that I've wanted to basically combine into the version that you see now. And the bugs. Oh man, the original website was so buggy. I'm sure a lot of it had to do with it being a Wayback archive, but boy, it's insane how much goes into a single website, how much code goes into it. Can't even really call it code, it's just basically markup language, but I'll call it code forever. I don't care. That's what happens when I talk while I work. I don't think I plugged the power supply back in, so back in we go. At least it's easier to get back in the second time. Doesn't make it any less painful. Yep. We're so silly. There we go. The boo-boo has been band-aided. See, and I knew it was my mistake as soon as I plugged it in and didn't see any lights on it, because obviously they didn't have a problem powering on before, so. And with 0 watts of power draw, either a fuse is blown or something's just completely disconnected. And and it powered on first fine right beforehand, so. Also, I've done that mistake enough times. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. You have a wonderful rest of your day. Well, as a matter of fact, wonderful start to your day. It's okay, I've already gone through all 7 stages of grief. I'm past it now. Here I am rambling about lack of attention to detail, and then I forget to plug the power supply in. Herdeater. At least I check my work and I fix it. There we go. All right.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. For more info, check the home app.
Yeah. All right, last one for the day from Fred? I don't actually know what's wrong with Fred's HomePod. They actually sent it in and then shot me an email, which I won't fault them. I think this was while my website was actually down. So... let's see here. Kevin. Oh no, this one is, let's see, Fred. Let's get this opened up and see what's actually wrong with it here. Looks like we got a little bit of cleaning up to do with that styrofoam before we send it back. No big deal. I'd rather see messy packing than no packing at all. It sucks to see a HomePod come in that's perfectly repairable but completely beat up because they sent it in a loose plastic bag and nothing else. Anyways, take a guess what's wrong with Fred's HomePod here? Hey! Alright, we're wrapping up the stream with a nice and easy classic no power. Alright. So let's get this apart. We'll give it a new diode to fix this power issue. And then it's also going to get new filters to prevent the exact same problems that we just fixed on the past 3 HomePods. Can you say Apple should recall these things? Maybe pay people back for all the money they had to spend getting them fixed. Maybe let us restore the software on a few of them too. That'd be nice. Did my top camera just die? It did. So sad. That's okay. I'll turn it off for a minute. We'll let it cool down. There's our diode that needs replaced, causing our power issues. That'll do. Sounds like we're finishing up just in time. Power.
I'm having trouble connecting to the... I'm having trouble connecting to...
Beautiful. Folks, that's everything fixed up. As always, I hope you all enjoyed this live stream.